So if you attempt to move the rock, if you say that rock is push, you could just go like, you know, basically it would be, you know, I'm not going to move it correctly if I do it this way, but if there's enough room here, I can push rock as push on the other side here, and then let me just go ahead and actually screw it. I'm just going to go ahead and show off like what that or how that ends up playing out. So if I do rock as push, the issue becomes that the rock, I can now, you know, I could do something like this, get the key out over here, and then do that. But then if I push the rock onto the key, it's not gonna, it's not, they never actually occupy the same tile at the same time, so it doesn't really lead to anything. It doesn't change, they don't actually touch each other because of the swap mechanic that's at play. So at best, I could just make them dance around each other endlessly, and that doesn't seem to actually... I experimented with this a little bit, but it doesn't seem to actually lead to anything working, you know? So if I do that, like, it just doesn't really lead to anything. I could try to push the rock on top of the key while it's in a corner, but it doesn't, yeah. It does seem closer. No, I think this is a red herring. I don't think that this, will ever actually work, because I can't swap. Having a third thing in the way doesn't mess with the swap mechanic, like to swap onto the rock. I kind of get what you're saying, but no. So I don't think that there's a way to swap onto the rock by pushing like something else onto the key, if that's what you're getting at. I don't think that that will lead to anything happening, per se. So, like, if I backtrack a little ways and get the key back onto, say, the bat... So if I do this, I can't really get the rock, actually. So one thing that's a little bit annoying about this is that I can't get the rock off of these cliffs, basically. I can't, like, get the key. I can't get the rock down to that area. You know, the other thing that I experimented with a little bit when I was starting out here was doing bat as push and using the bat to get the key out. That's the other kind of logical thing, right? So that would be, you know, this sort of play, and then the bat is stuck up there, but then the key is out, and I still have access to the word bat. But the issue with this, I mean, the other thing I could think of is just pushing text through instead of the bat. But I don't think that this is gonna let me, you know. It does give me a couple extra things to work with if I do that, but I'm not sure if I'm really following, if this gives me anything new, per se, that the bat didn't already basically provide for me. If that makes sense. So I can come over here, and then I can get the rock as push stuff down there. But then, yeah, there's no way that this text is going to behave any particularly differently than the bat was going to when I was working with the things being kind of on the roof of, or at the mouth of this cave, and then do rock as push like this. This isn't going to make a difference. I mean, I can try, but I can't do like rock as bat or bat as rock, you know, because that's gonna, yeah, because you can't change the form of the bat to anything else. If it could, then it would be a lot easier. But yeah, if I come over here and I now say that this is a configuration, if I come over here and I say that like the rock is here and I have the bat word like over here or something, I'm now seeing what I should have been doing this whole time, I think. This is I think I just solved the puzzle. There it is. Alright, 2-hour stream, and that was the solution. Alright, cool. Well,
you did it though.
Yeah, thanks for bearing with me on that one. That took so long that I don't even have like a sense of gratification about it. It's more just like, yay, I can now move on with my life and my happiness. I am relieved, and there is like some sort of sense of like dopamine, but not a whole lot. Jesus. There's no gratification, only relief. Yeah, exactly. You understand. It's sort of like winning a boxing match. Like, yeah, you won, but also you kind of want to die. Because you just get like, you just got punched in the face over and over and over again. That's kind of how I feel after solving that puzzle. Oh, Nelly. Let's pop over to level 4 and just keep on sequence breaking this game. Maybe continued Baba Dreamage has given me even more intelligences than I had beforehand. So what do we got here? Rock on key is flag, bat is bat, flag is win, Baba is you, key is swap, cliff is stop. That's interesting. I see. So every time I stand on a key, it changes positions with me. Rock is push is very interesting. So I think that what I can do is I can say bat is push, and then I can use the bat to swap the key out of place, and then just keep on pushing the key to wherever it needs to go. Now, this is kind of interesting because the... fascinating. Okay, so I can't move the key along very easily. I can't... Well, actually, as long as I'm able to approach it from the right directions, I can actually pull the key all right. So... One thing I could do to make this a little bit easier than trying to pull the key into the right place, though, is I'm going to take the text, and we're gonna just shove rock is push behind the rock, and then I ought to be able to just turn around and then push the rock out and then get around it and then push it up onto the key, and then that will allow me to win pretty easily there. So this level is pretty straightforward. I think that this is probably more to pace these new mechanics. Maybe swap is like a new mechanic at this point in the game, and I actually screwed this up. So let's go ahead and wait on doing the rock thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just work on swapping the key actually into the places where it needs to go. And I guess something else to keep in mind, actually, is that the rock is push. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got some problems now. So if I watch this, if I come over here and I go ahead and just push the rock onto the key, it's not going to work. So my initial thoughts of taking that text and shoving it up there actually made everything a whole lot worse, and it's going to be a little bit faster for me, I think, if I just go ahead and reset the puzzle at this point. So let's again work on getting that key, snaking it into place over here. And yeah, the reason that I realized that wasn't going to fly is that as soon as I were to get the rock is push, well, as soon as I were to push the rock is push text above the rock, I wouldn't be able to... Wow, this is actually really neat now. I wonder what happens if I attempt to push the text over the key. Well, we get some interesting stuff. Okay, yeah, that's easier than whatever I was planning on doing beforehand. We're probably going to want to not screw up the key there too much. And yeah, we got a little bit of an issue once again with the text. This isn't really cooperating particularly well. Moving things with swap has not really been panning out at the moment. I guess I could... Yeah, I can move the key to about there, and then I'm not too sure what to do at that point. I can swap stuff with the text, but I don't think that that's going to really be conducive to a solution at this point. I can go ahead and try and push this down, but yeah, we're kind of in a little bit of a pickle. So what can I do now? We do have the key about as well lined up as I could hope for. I could push... Let's go ahead and just push the text back up at the very least, although I think that it's basically stuck there at this point. So I can transform the rock into a bat, and then say that bat is push, but I don't know if that's going to really fly. Haha! I just realized I made a pun there. I could, you know, if there was a way to do this, I could transform the rock into a bat, but then I wouldn't be able to change the bat into a rock. And, you know, it does have to be rock on key as flag. So we're really in a bit of a jam here. I suppose that what I could do, though, is I'm pretty sure I'm pretty certain that if I attempt to take the text and then push it onto this key somehow, it should move upwards. So I just need a way to get the text down another tile, basically, and then I could see if there's a way to swap the text with the key. Doesn't really look like I'm going to be able to come up with something for that. Regardless, let's try doing what I was doing earlier. So the bat is basically stuck in there. I wonder if getting the bat stuck in that position is not really what I want to do. There doesn't seem to be a way for me to, like... Well, this is interesting. I'm wondering what would happen if I pushed the bat there, and then made it so the bat was no longer push, and then stepped on the key, if we would be able to do anything with that, and unfortunately we can't. I was trying to see if I could trigger some sort of interesting little chain reaction, but that's not really gonna fly. Another thing I could conceivably do is, instead of I could use push and then get things to work that way. And then if I use push here to shove the key out of that area, and then I just start worming this guy into where it needs to go. And if I were to say bat is push, well, we're in a bit of a conundrum. I can push the bat up here, and then if I use the key to swap, well, I can't swap the key into things. That's kind of where I'm getting a little bit thrown off. I was trying to see if I could, like, use the key to pull bat is out of the way, but unfortunately that's not going to lead to anything. So I'm now wondering if I could push the key along with the bat, though, once it's in that position. So it looks like I might be able to pull something like that off. So let's go ahead and get the bat somewhere just down there, and let's get the key down there, and let's just start worming this shit all together. One thing I'm going to consider doing is probably using the bat, some sort of approach, like maybe this to pull the key around, and then just take the bat and maybe pull it like that. Yeah, I think I may want to have the bat a little bit lower. It's a little bit hard for me to figure out exactly good ways to maneuver the bat, like, down after I have the key kind of in position. Like, if there was a way for me to... I can move the key to about there, and then I basically don't really know what I can do from that point onwards. If there was a way, let's go ahead and reverse for a little bit until the bat's kind of around here, and then I can move the key around like so. I can then, let's get Baba into this position where the key is there, and I can push the bat over like that. Okay, what happens if well, I can't just push the bat over without actually not accomplishing anything at all. I can't really I can't really get the key to push the bat anywhere else at this point. Best thing I can do is something like that, and that doesn't really seem to give me any sort of advantages. So, what can I do? I could use the text to now add another layer of confusion to all this crap. But yeah, some stuff gets really, really strange when you start swapping things around willy-nilly. So, pull the key around like that. Push the key down. Can move the key one tile over. And then, yeah, we are... more or less just really confused at this point. I can't... I can swap the key with the bat like that. I can then push the key there. And then that's basically it for me knowing exactly what I can do with the bat. So what if I now just sacrifice rock for the key, and that way I don't have to deal with bat is push so much. So now I can just say, like, bat is push, and if I had some way of positioning that text now behind the bat, kind of the same thing. So yeah, let's do it as the same thing I was doing earlier, where I get that key down, and we're gonna use some text. We're gonna push bat down that shaft first. And next we're gonna get the is down the shaft. And anybody making any sort of giggles or snirks at the word shaft, yeah, you know, you're a true fan. Okay, so let's get that key totally into position here. Just want to do some work like that, and then get the key. Where was I? I was about there. Yeah, this is good. All right. So now bat is push, and I can start to pull that key upwards by using the bat, I think. Yeah, this ought to do something for me. What that is, I don't really entirely know yet, but we can get the key up a little bit, and then I don't really know exactly where to continue to go with this. Yeah, I can get the key. I can get the key up one extra tile this way. And that's agonizingly close, isn't it? So I guess the question now is, if I have rock as push, and I use the rock to get the key out, at this point I could say that I can't transform bats. I could transform rock into bat, but then I lose, so I definitely don't want to do that. Okay. Other things I'm thinking are, I don't just use the text at, say, all the way down at the shaft. If I get it queued up a little bit lower, like there, and then get that bat ready to push. But let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and get the bat ready to push now. And we can just get the key into position as we've done beforehand. Use the bat to get the key through. Yeah, so what I'm hoping for is that I wanted to see if there was a way for me to... Yeah, okay, I see the issue here. So I made the bat pushable. I need to get the bat into position before I get the text into position. So unfortunately, I'm just going to go ahead and restart once again, and we're going to do bat is push a little bit earlier. We want to get the bat down over here in front of the rock shaft a little bit sooner. Now we're going to go ahead and make the bat no longer push, and let's just get the bat is push text more or less where I want it to be. We'll start working the key down. Swap in places with that key. And once again, we'll be using the text to get the key into position as well. And that ought to get us working pretty well here. One thing I've noticed in this part of the game is that you have to use the text in a really abstract and strange way. Like, the text in the earlier levels is mostly just used to manipulate the rules, right? In these levels, I feel like the text is as much of a part of the game board as the rules that the text makes up. And it's really, really interesting to me to see how that all changes, how that dynamic changes. So I think that I probably want the bat to be, instead of at the mouth of the cave over there, I probably want the bat to be up a little bit. So we're going to try, push the bat onto the key. If I have the key here and I push the bat onto it, then the key comes up to where Baba currently is. The bat's there. If I had a way to then I could step up and then swap the key there. The bat needs to be good. Then the key would be there, and then I wouldn't be able to really do much else. Shoot. Yeah, there's something interesting about how the interplay between the bat and the text is going to work out in this level. So let's go ahead and rebase back to my earlier solution so I can just once again see how effective or not it's going to be. So we're going to get the key positioned around here. Use the text to get that key swapped into where it needs to go. And we're going to get the text over here now, get the key up there. And one thing I can potentially do is find some way to swap the key into place with the text. So I had something like that. Yeah, I don't want to push the text over at all. Okay, well, still. Something like this is pretty reasonable. We can swap the key up with the bat. Yeah, so the issue... Okay, we do have the key there. I can push that key there. Yeah, there's I can push the key, the bat onto the key at this point to get it there. And then if I do that, I can push the bat from the bottom into the key, I think. But then that's basically it. No, I can't get the bat any lower. Unless I... Yeah, okay, so the bat's currently there. And then I can't really push the key up any further from here. Yeah, so earlier I had a solution that where I had the bat up a little bit and I was able to get the key up one tile by doing that. I can do rock is push, but if I have the rock is push up there, then yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is if I do rock is push at the beginning, and I push it to the other side of the rock, and I use this to get the rock out of the rock shaft, then the problem is that the key and the rock can never actually touch. Unless I had some very clever way, which I don't, but if I did have some way of making this push, if I had a way of removing that, then that would be one thing. But unfortunately I don't have access to that. So what I need to be doing, I mean, I think I have the right idea by using the rock text to get the key out. If I had some way of... Yeah, that gets very, very interesting if I stack shit up like that. So the key... Yeah, the key can't be used to pull anything out of a given position. As nice as it would be if that were the case, but unfortunately we don't have that. So the best thing I can think of is to shove the rock in there and get the key out like that. Then worming this guy upwards. There's some ordering of pushing the bat and the text of bat is push up there so that we're able to eventually get this this key to land on the rock. And while that ordering currently eludes me, I guess I probably don't want to do it with is. I probably want to do it with push for... Well, actually, I definitely don't want to do it with push first. Whatever I'm thinking is almost assuredly going to be bat first. So we'll go ahead and get that going. Yeah, this is... I guess I kind of messed up by pushing bat into that spot. Or we want to just get a little bit of space between bat and push. And that will give me room to work with the text here. And we're just going to push bat is out of the way. And once we're in that position, we can get the key out of there. We can start getting the text into place like that. And something... Something that I can do that I just now realized is that instead of doing bat is push, like over there, try something like that. Get that batty boy over here. Get the bat there again. Yeah, I probably want to, as I've mentioned a couple times, I probably want to get the bat positioned a lot earlier in this puzzle than, you know, the times that I have been doing it. But the cool thing about this is that I can get the bat into the same position that I was working with earlier. But all right, let's try this. Again, we're going to just take the rock to get the key out. We're going to take the bat. We're going to put it somewhere around there. And if I now say bat is no longer push and we start getting the key here, get that key. I kind of want to see what happens if I get the key onto the bat at the same time that the bat is push. There's got to be something to all this crap. Alright, so we'll get the key there. Start working the key onto the bat itself. And I can maneuver push like that, but I don't think I really want to do that. So now I have the text down in the nooks and crannies of this puzzle. And if we get bat is key like that. Yeah, so I can push the bat on one side. So I can push the bat up. But yeah, I really think that my best bet is to have the text at the end of this like rock shaft. And if I can't do that, let's get the bat into position. One thing I was doing that was working pretty well was I did have the bat like around there, and I did have bat is push sequence like around there. So if I start to get the key worked over here, let's get the key into place. I'm sure that's like the 30th time I've said that as solving this puzzle, but it's the 30th time I've needed to get the key in place, so, you know, fuck you. We'll use the is to push the key into the alcove here, and we will get the is text positioned as best I can. One thing I was able to pull off earlier was I had the key positioned in a much nicer spot. Okay, yeah, I had something like this. And by doing that, sort of like, as I got into this area, I was able to pull the key up. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what I was able to do earlier. I was able to pull the key upwards just by doing something like that. And now I can't really figure out what to do with the bat anymore. I can push it upwards, but I think that it's almost like I want the text to be in a different spot where I still had some text available to like push this thing up a little bit more. But I don't really see a way to do that. Because this pattern, I was really only able to get any sort of headway in this area by being able to go push something down onto the key from above. And here it's almost like I need to have the ability to do it again with, like, I don't know. There's got to be something that I can do here where it's almost like if I were able to get around the bat again and then push it down, I would somehow, I mean, I know it's not possible whatsoever, but if I were able to do it, then I'd be able to worm the key up another tile and go from there. But there's no way for me to do that without, yeah, so I can just push the bat further up. But I can't seem to figure out a way to do anything else. If there were some way of making the rock pushable. Yeah, this is about the best that I can do right now. is getting things to this position specifically. And I feel like this doesn't really do me a whole lot of favors, because I can't seem to think of a way to get like the rock out of there or anything like that. And I can't swap anything with the key anymore at that point. Like, I can use the text, and then whatever I push up into that corner, I mean, it's basically stuck there. So, like, if I had a way of, say, using like the bat as push and get it onto the tile where the key is gonna go, then as soon as I make it so that the bat is not pushed and then I step on the key, we kinda, it looks like this should be useful, but it's not. And I really don't like the idea of just sacrificing some text to get the key out. Like, I can't just say... The one thing I was thinking is that if I had... Earlier, I was having a little bit of thoughts around having push be in there. And then if I had a way to do... like bat is push in the upper right corner, then we would be able to do some interesting stuff. But then once I put some text here where Baba currently is, that text is basically lost, and there's nothing I can do about it at that point. So like if I said bat is push, it is bat is pushed until the end of time. I can't do anything to change that. I feel like there's some subtleties to the swap mechanic that could help me out here. Oh wow, this is a totally fucked up board, because now rock, like all of my text is totally locked in up there. This is a very small puzzle, but that does not mean at all that it's going to be easy, apparently. No, no, no. This is hella challenging. So I looked it up. I think there are about 200 or 300 puzzles in this game. Meaning that my paltry 90 solutions, I have a ways to go. And that's gonna be interesting stuff. Because here I am on level 9, and my brain, she is a melting. You may be wondering, that was a weird turn of phrase to say that my brain is female. Yeah, that was actually super duper weird. I'm slightly uncomfortable now at my own phrasing there, but, you know, fuck it. Yeah, we're gonna go with fuck it. I think that's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and get the bat is push text just where I feel like it could be most effective. Which would be somewhere around, say, here. And from this, I can do some shit. Get the bat to be about there. Okay. So I can kind of reposition the bat willy and or nilly by doing this sort of stuff. But as as I identified earlier, having the bat at the end of the mine shaft really would make this a lot easier. Effectively, what I've done now is the same solution that I had earlier, except now I have the text all kind of in a different ordering than what I usually go for. So I'm wondering what happens now if I did have something fairly unusual earlier where I'm wondering, you know, I can get the key. I get the key up, like. Yeah, let's use bat is to get that key out of that area. You know, earlier I was having pretty decent luck getting the text. Let's get is out of the way. If I could get that text down somehow. Like, I feel like if I had the ability to get the text onto like this tile or something, then I could get some interesting results. But the problem is that I just can't seem to figure out a way to do this. This, on the other hand, looks very interesting to me. Being able to, instead of having bat is push here, well, this is kind of a bad positioning now, but if I had the ability to, like, yeah, that is actually very odd to have the text around in that area. But for right now, what I'm gonna do, I think, is let's get the bat down here, because I don't think that I'm gonna really be able to do a whole lot until the bat's down there. Okay, so the bat is now push. I can maneuver things. Okay. All right. I'm thinking I might be onto something. Something very strange, but something. I guess, wow, yeah, this is really weird. I'd be able to push the bat along. Like, as I push text over the key, it sort of reverses course. And so, if I had a way... Alright, I can now, like, shove stuff in the direction that the mine shaft, per se, appears to be moving. So if I did something like that... huh. This is a hard puzzle. Every puzzle in this world has been extremely difficult. This one is not an exception to that rule. I can at least... That is a verifiable bird fact right there. Yeah, I can worm the key out by doing that, but that's really, really counterproductive because I'm trying to bring the key into the rock. Let's see. Yeah, the key will just swap positions with things that pass over it, but otherwise it doesn't seem to. This doesn't seem to way to like retrieve something from the end of like the mine shaft with the key, for example. And I don't see a way that I could push any text down on the other side of the key doing anything like that. Obviously, I'm kind of just experimenting at the moment. I'm not really doing anything that I think is a solution for right now. You know, there was something kind of interesting about having the text in this sort of lineup, but ultimately, I didn't really see a whole lot of benefit to doing that. I guess, yeah, one thing I'm really curious about is seeing what happens if the key and the bat are mostly on the same tiles. That's like kind of really interesting to me. So if I have something like this, where I'm able to basically push the bat onto the key and then come over here and then just start to push the key up like so. Ah, I think I'm onto something. So we do have the bat and the key in a really interesting position here, but we have bat is push in a really bad position. So what I'm starting to realize, I think this is going pretty well now, is I want to have some sort of lineup like this. Yeah, we want to have something like that. And let's just start moving that text down down the rock shaft. And that way we have everything kind of really nicely aligned. Now the bat is moving upwards, and I don't really think that's what I wanted. Yeah, this seems more interesting to me. Okay, get everything in this sort of position. Push the text up a little ways. We want to get that key. We want to get that key, like... I want to get that key in that sort of position there. That got really close. And, yeah, that got really, really close. That's interesting. But that is still not 100% where I want things to be. Yeah, so that just becomes this sort of block of text that's above the bat. It's sort of like, I wish that I had a way of getting the text blocks, or I wish I had a way to get the key below where the bat is right now. Like, just one more down would have been really interesting. I can do something like this, and then that's basically it. I can't get the key much closer to the rock than that. But there's gotta be a way. Yeah, it looks like I can get the key right there when I'm exiting the mine shaft. And I can get the key one higher whenever I push the bat onto it and then work it up with just a Baba movement. Like, that's about as close as I can do, I think. And if I had some more text that I was able to push, like, in the other direction, if I was able to push something down once again onto the key, I would be able to make it swap up a tile, and then therefore I'd be able to get it into position. But without that, let's reverse course a little bit and get some of the text out of the rock shaft. So I can do something like that. I'm going to try and pay a lot more attention now to the state of things as I'm worming the text into this area. Yeah, so there's not much I can see that I can really do differently. Make the bat pushable. I feel like I'm very much on the cusp of a solution here, but I'm just not really there, you know? I'm close, but there's no cigar. There's no stogie to be had. God, I feel like I'm just like right on the precipice of greatness here. I mean, I literally am just one tile away from the solution, so yeah, I think, like, by definition, that's about as precipice-y as one could get. But I wish I was more closelier than this. One thing I can think of, actually. So, let's move the bat one more tile down. Alright, so I had the bat there. Let's keep it there. Alright. I think that might lead to some interesting behavior. No, I used the bat to get it one more... I guess I used the bat to get the key one higher when I did this, right? Like, I think I did something like that to get the key a little bit higher. And I wish that what I had done maybe instead is I had done it with the bat text. Yeah, this is getting interesting. What happens if I start doing something like this? Damn it! I've been in this exact same position before. I can get that bat. I can push it like that, and then the key will go down. Alright. What happens if I start doing something like that? The bat and the key have now swapped positions. I can push things up like that. Then the bat is up there. And I've been in this place plenty of times. There's nothing... There's only deja vu to be had here. So, if there was a way... Alright, this was something I was doing earlier, and I generally found this to look very, very promising. So, what I was doing was something with the text like that, and then I was getting the text there. And then, if I get things there... Yeah, this sucks. This absolutely fucking sucks. This is awful right now. Truly. If the mountain will come to Muhammad, then Muhammad will come to the mountain. That feels oddly apropos here. Oddly apropos insofar as I believe that is probably somebody giving a very in-depth, a very cryptic hint, maybe. Alright. So, I'm wondering if there's a pattern to moving the text through here that I hadn't really picked up on before. No, it literally is like when I push something into the shaft, it, as I leave it, I can move the key up one. That's basically the entire pattern. That's all there is to this. I can do that. The bat is now onto the key. Yeah, this is basically all I can think to do. I didn't have very much luck having the key and the bat aligned, like, on the same tile. Like that. But let's experiment with this a little bit more at the very least. You know, it's worth exploring this just to see what I can come up with. So we can push the key up like that. We do have the bat now. And, I mean, that's basically it. Like, we can't really get this any further here. I kind of wish... Huh. I was just wondering to myself if there was a way to do, like, rock is push, bat is push, alternating. But, again, if I use rock to get the key out of that nook, then it won't actually... I can't change things around at all. This is just a hell of a puzzle game. Okay. That moves the bat along, but I don't really want that to happen. If I push the bat text there... Like, this is... Hang on. If I have the bat... Maybe I don't have the bat in that exact spot. if I had a way of having the bat be one tile lower than this, then that could be interesting. But once again, I'm kind of running into the problem that I've experienced a bunch of times with this, where I can't actually get anything to be a tile lower than I want it to be. Which is interesting because there is this extra space here. So why is there this extra space here? There's got to be a reason for it. But that reason really confuses me. I can push the bat along, and I can get it to about there. But what I really want is to get the bat, like, here, or get some text here. Why is there this extra space? I can't get anything down into that area. Can I? There's no way, right? Like, I could... The only thing I can get into this, get down that far, is the key. Which I can just get down that far purely by just doing a couple of swaps like that. But I can't do much else. You know, I can't, it's about, like, that's all I can think to do, but that seems completely pointless. I could get the bat into that position. Bat is now pushable. Yeah, and then this is the other position I've been in before. I haven't really been able to figure anything out that's different from that. So, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. You know? I know I'll figure it out eventually, but I mean, eventually could be multiple hours. Jeez, this game is relentlessly challenging. It believes in me way more than I believe in myself, I'll tell you that much. Okay. So I do have the bat and the key on the same tile now. And I can push the bat out of the way like that. And then that doesn't really do anything to push the bat from the other side of the key. I mean, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. If I'm here and I make that push, and I have the bat and the key on the same tile, then if I were to step onto the bat and the key and push it, then the key would move up there. There's something to this. Hold on. I'm getting a twitchling of a thought here. If I have bat is push kind of aligned, but if I had the bat positioned in a different spot than how I currently have it, I'd have something like that. And then if I had the bat no longer pushable, is there a way for me to get... Okay, if I push that down, is there a way for me to get the key and the text to swap places so that they... Okay, yeah, that looks really promising. That looks really promising now. I don't think I've seen this configuration of bat plus key plus text before. This looks brand new. And I think I see some potential here. So I now have the bat. I want to have the bat and the key aligned when I go up in there. All right. Okay, this is interesting. If I get the key to be kind of more aligned with the bat as I move through here. What did I pull off earlier where I had the key here at the same time as the bat when I had the text up a little ways? There was something I did earlier that seemed very, very promising, where I had like this. But I also had the key kind of in a trick spot. Alright, yeah, I had something like this. This seemed very, very promising. But this doesn't quite look right. So I can push the bat into place like that. I can get the key up one. And then from here I could push the bat up. And then this is a very familiar position. I've been in this position a million times. But there's something to this that's starting to make a lot of sense to me. But I don't think I see it yet. If I had the bat, here, and then I pushed it onto the key. Hang on. If I had the bat in this position, and I had the key here, and I pushed the bat onto the key from here, I would be on the key, and then I could do a swap to move the key up onto the rock. That's the solution. I've got it. Now I just need to get the arrangement down. So I want the bat to... I was actually really close. I do want the bat to be up one tile from where it currently is. So let's go ahead and get that bat placed. So we do want that. We want the bat to no longer be pushed, though. So we just want to keep getting the key positioned so that it's... the text is like there. And maybe something like that. But now I'm having trouble remembering how to get the key like aligned as I push the text up through it. So there was something I was doing earlier where I did have the bat and the key on the same tile, and I had the key at the bottom of the shaft. What was I doing to make that happen? Was it that I had the key... Okay. So I want the bat to be there. I then want to move bat out of the way. And then... Now bat is pushed though, so I don't want that to happen. What was I doing differently that allowed me to have the bat and the key on the same tile? Specifically, what I want to do is I want to make sure that the key is at the bottom position here whenever I'm ready to push the push command into place. And I can't quite seem to remember how I did that. What's different between the two arrangements? So here I had the bat and the key aligned. I pushed the text up, I moved the key onto the bat. I then pushed the is statements there. I then pushed the push up. I don't know, how did I do this? I had this up a little ways. I moved the key onto that, and then I moved the key there, and then used the bat to position things like that. Okay, there was something about this that feels a little bit different. Is it because I don't actually want the key to be on the bat? When I get the text up here, do I not want the key to be on the bat after all? I mean, it's currently aligned relatively permanently like this, so I can't really do much about it. I could have the key kind of out of place at first, and then get it positioned later on like this. But then the key is definitely not where I want it to be. Wherefore art thou, solution? That was incredibly stupid. Okay. Yeah, it's like I want to have the key. I want to have the key where it currently is, and I want to have the bat up one more tile. When I push the final push statement into place. It's really all I need. So if I had a way of making that happen, I currently don't see it, but if I had a way to make that happen, I would be pretty damn stoked. Like, this is fine. This is actually the alignment I want everything to be in, but I need the other stuff to like agree with it. Like, this is harsh. I can do that. I can get the push block there, but I can't get the key to stay there. Like, are you seeing what I'm saying? If I push the bat onto the key to swap it right here, if the key was one tile higher, then the key would be on me. I could step up and then swap again. But I haven't been able to figure out a way to keep the key in that position that it's in right now on the I can get it here. So the key is here, but the bat is not there. I mean, the bat is not where I want it to be. I could push text over the bat. And then push some more text like that. The bat is now loose. I could do that. The bat's now on the key. Damn. Okay, this is pretty fascinating. But again, I think that all that's going to happen is I'm going to push the bat onto the key, and then we're going to get in this very, very familiar situation where I can't get this stuff to fly any further than that. If I had the text up one more, I had the bat at the roof of at the mouth of the cave here. Again, just like pull things around like that. Yeah, it's almost like I need to have the bat as push there at some point to get the bat back, and then yeah, we can't get that to work. Okay. God, it's like right there. It's so, I can taste it. I mean, I can't actually taste it. That would be really, really weird if I could taste this. But I just, you know, I can't get this to work. You know, this is the right setup, and you know, that's cute and all, but it's not going to materialize into the actual positioning that I want, unless there is, yeah, I mean, I can't think of any way to get the text to help pull the key up any further than it currently is. This is push. Okay, I can do that. I can get that there. Let's see. There are two objects that can move down once in the tunnel, Baba and the bat. The key needs to swap up 3 times to be swapped on the rock. If anything that moves down moves back up, the key will just swap back down. So, yeah, I think I get it, but, like, I can't really figure out a way to leverage that mechanic into something here. Because I need as soon as I pass through here with the last block of text, the key is not in the right position based off of what I want to be doing. I can push the bat through here, that can come up and I can move the key into that spot. And if I had something else that I could push in there, or something else that I could swap, then things could potentially work out a little bit differently. But as far as I know, I mean, I could push the bat along, but that's not gonna really work. I wish I could, like, oh man. So that gets everything into that position. God damn. Like, I wish if I was standing on the bat, I could push it down. Then that could work in a kind of interesting manner for me. But, I also wish that there was a way to, like, reposition the bat, without requiring... Okay, so I can position the key up like that. I don't think there's a way to... If I have the... What if I have the bat on the other side of where it currently is? I mean, on the other side of the key. If I have the bat... say I think I already experimented with this a little bit. If I have the bat there, what sort of things, what sort of swapping behavior can start to occur from this? I could push the, I could pull the key up like that. What happens if I have the text up a little ways? We do get the key there. This is an interesting thing because I haven't explored this this set of circumstances very much. So we have the key up there, and then I can push the text up, and then I could. Oh, I don't think I really want that to happen. I don't think I want the text to be to like the left of the mouth of the cave here. Moreover, I think I really want to make sure that anytime I push the key down, I immediately get it back up into that sort of position. What I'm wondering is if I have push here, what happens if I do something like that? Okay. So I've pushed the key upwards. Alright, this is interesting. I push the push block upwards. I then go down like that. I can then swap the bat and the key, because these things are on the same tile. I kind of wish that I could push the bat downwards from up here. So what happens if I push that way? I've pushed the bat down. I push this there. I can push the key up like that. That doesn't seem to be a good move in the end. Okay, if the bat... Okay. Bat and key are now gonna... I'm gonna aim to try and have the bat and the key on the same tile again. And for people that do know what the solution is, I'm sure watching me waffle about right now is, I mean, probably very painful, but I appreciate patience during this trying time. Alright, so earlier I did have the bat and the key on the same tiles, and I had the bat up one tile from where it currently is. Huh. No, this isn't that novel. I thought I was going to get something fairly interesting by having the bat up an extra tile, but that's not going to actually lead to anything particularly cool. Okay, we want to get something going on here. No, this is not really working particularly well because I've lost one up push with the key right now. So I have something like that, and then if I had bat is push. Fascinating. This would be very, very odd. So I've pushed the bat along. Yeah, that gets very funky when the bat and the push block are on the same tile. That gets Some very unusual behavior. But ultimately, nothing particularly interesting seems to come from it. Yeah, this doesn't... I've been in this position before. So... Alright. Can push this up like that. Push the bat up like that. Ah, God. I have been on one level for an hour and a half. I've been on one level for an hour and a half, and I thought I've exhausted basically every single thing that I can do. I've tried, as far as I can tell, every permutation of bat and key, except for obviously the right one. So there's a lot of Baba Is You footage that I have, which is just 2 hours of me sitting around on one level, just faffing about and not being able to do a goddamn thing. I have no idea how I'm going to edit this stuff. I assume I'm just going to... I don't have a clue. I have no idea. I have no idea how people can even stand to watch this live without being like, Bird, do the fucking thing. But, you know, props to all of you. Huh. So, one thing... I wish I had the ability to just push the text down like this. If I was on the other side of this text, that could be very interesting, but I can't. I can push the key there. The bat is now in a shitty position. Like, I have 3 things of text, meaning that if I push the bat, like, I can do this weird little train like this, where I'm able to push the key in the opposite direction of whatever is being pushed upon it. But, I can't, like, push all the text up, get on the other side of it, and then push it down. The only thing I could do that with would be the bat. Like, if I push the bat to the end of the hallway, but then also manage to have a way of pushing the bat. I don't know. There, I have the bat and the key on the same position here. But I don't remember if this is something I've even... I feel like I've already kind of explored this solution or this configuration quite a bit, and haven't really found anything particularly interesting while doing so. But I mean, it's not too hard to arrange it. If I kind of get up on the side of the bat, and then push the bat up there. Yeah, this is the configuration that is like almost the golden configuration, we'll say, where things are as close as they possibly could be to, like, my envisioned ideal state of key and bat arrangement. But I don't see a way to really push this into being a solution, unfortunately. Yeah, this is the area I've been in. This is the area I've been in before, and it almost it feels so close. Feels so right and snuggly and warm, and like everything is gonna turn out okay for me. It won't, but it feels like that for a brief moment in time anyway. So that's got to be worth something. Jeez. I ever figure out the solution to this, I'm probably gonna feel like a real dumbass. Yeah, like if the key were here, I could move it up. Huh. That's kind of odd that that Baba moving down doesn't cause the key to swap. I can push the bat down. I can push the key up once more. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. I can just waffle back and forth between these two for forever. So what happens when I'm on the key and I attempt to move left or right? This lets me... Okay. I know that, like, the Brian J. and other people had to start using walkthroughs in this game, and I really don't blame them. I really don't. This is, just a phenomenally difficult puzzle in a phenomenally difficult game. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's that hard, too. Like, this is a really deceptively simple little puzzle, I think. And that's just, like, what's making this all the more, like, kind of frustrating, because I'm like, this shouldn't be difficult, right? This should be pretty damn straightforward, that I'm able to just get the key into the right position here when I enter the hallway to, I don't know, maybe if I had a way of keeping the bat basically always on top of the key, and I had some way of swapping things intelligently, then I could pull something off. But I got nothing. I mean, I keep thinking I'm getting close with this puzzle, and then I don't get anywhere with it. And this is really bad, because now I'm backtracking a lot, and I'm losing a ton of progress on accident by just holding down the backtracking key absent-mindedly. This is damn frustrating. It's like really not that difficult seeming. Okay, move that there. I can't even realize how sometimes I'm able to get the key at the mouth of the cave, and other times I can't. And like, there's some basic fucking thing that I'm missing. It's so simple. It's probably screaming at me right now, and I just don't see it. I just don't know what I need to do. I just don't know what I need to do. I want the shit to just be in the right order. Alright, okay, so I push that up. Push that there. Alright. Is it like I need to push 2 of these things at a time up there? So get bat and is into position first? So I kind of have the key like there, and then I have bat and is. Hang on. Like, is there a reason for me to have all like a different not a different ordering, but like push 2 things in at the end as opposed to one thing, but then, I don't know. That seems a little bit odd. So that would be like push bat and or push bat and is up first, or push bat up and then is, but then okay, so if I push is up, I can't push up without then triggering everything. Okay. I have no idea what to do. I really don't. I have taken hints. I have messed with this in every possible configuration I can think of. I just can't fucking see it. I can't see it. So this is an interesting, like, facet of how, like, the Ritalin that I've been taking affects my thinking, in that, like, I could probably spend I could probably be up until 3 a.m. working on this, if I felt like it. Just because my brain is like, oh, you're working on something? Yeah, you're not gonna be able to stop. And, like, I very well could just, like, unless I consciously force myself to, like, stop working on this, like, this could potentially be the entire stream of me just, like, fucking around with this little, like, mine shaft looking thing until I figure it out or, like, pass out. That's what drugs that are designed to increase your focus will do to your mind. They will make you focus, that's for sure. But I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. I mean, I know what state I want things to be in, and I know what all the, like, pieces of the puzzle are, and I know generally how to get the pieces to align with what I'm trying to accomplish. But, you know, what I'm able to accomplish is just not really working out, unfortunately. Like, restart the level so Durf can see the start. This is pretty much, like, what you're gonna see if I reset it to the start. Yeah, there are some times where I have everything positioned up so that the key and, like, all this shit is just spicy. You know, I have like this there, and I have this, well, I don't want to do that, because I don't want the key to be, I don't want the push block to be inaccessible. This is just, if I have this there, I have that there. Thinking that the rock isn't stuck there. I mean, I pushed it up there, so it became stuck there. That's why the rock is there. Hang on, there's, like, some shit. Wait, hold on. What am I What am I doing sometimes? Like, sometimes I'm able to get the key and I'm able to manipulate it right where I want it to be, and other times I don't. And why? Okay, so now the key is above the push block. So if I push the push block up, I can then get the key there. I can use the bat to swap it out of place. I can then push the bat up like that. But then bat is push is kind of not where I want it to be. Alright. So I can push the key. I can get the key to there. I've done this a million times. I've gotten the key to this point a lot of different times. And it doesn't seem to be correct at this point. Because I can't push the bat over this key without getting into trouble. And I can't push the bat up like that. But I might be able to make some sort of swaps with the bat that I'm not really considering. Hang on. So I pushed push up like that. If the key was one tile higher when I was going into this puzzle, then I would be able to make all this work. But it's not where I really want it to be. Yeah. So, let me think about this. The key and the push block are currently in this sort of arrangement. And if I have the key out of the way here, and then I have the push block there, then I have the push block there, and then come up here, I can't really see a way to get the key. So this is the opposite. I flipped it now. Earlier I had the key above the push block, and now I have the key below the push block. So you'd think like different circumstances would lead to different key arrangement, but and that's true. The key does wind up in a different spot, but it doesn't wind up further in the position that I actually am interested in getting it into. So what can I be doing differently to work with this key? Yeah, so this is another position that I've been able to kind of consistently get into. So I can get the key there. And then if I had the ability to push, I could push the bat up and I can get the key there. And then I need something else that I can use to push either downwards. I need like two things to push downwards from above the key. And then God, this is melting my brain quite a lot. If I had two things to like push if I had two things that I could use to push downward through the key, then I would be able to get this thing up to where it needs to go. But I can only think of using Baba and the bat. Okay. I can get this position. This position seems pretty good. But obviously, this is the position I've been in the last, like, 35 minutes. And, I mean, if this position was going to actually lead to anything, then it would have. It's like... God damn it. I can get 2 swaps. And then I need something else that's above this to do a 3rd swap. Downwards. I'm gonna try having bat is 1 tile higher. And I don't really know why I'm trying that except for the sake of trying another potential positioning of things. So, let's see. Yeah. I can move... I just need a 3rd thing to push down. But I can't push the rock down. We need 3 swaps. And rock can't be push at any time, because if rock is push, if I push like rock is push beyond the rock and then turn around and push the rock back down, I'm not going to be able to get push out. Okay, there's 1 swap. I just wish that the key was right here. I just wish it was right there. Then I would only need 2 swaps to do this. I wish I could push the bat downwards and get the key up. So when I push the bat down like this, so if I had the bat and the key on the same tile, and I pushed the bat and the key out of the way of each other like this, this is the arrangement that they would be in. So that's not going to be a position that will lead to anything, basically. If I had the... It's literally like I just need them to be here, but I need to be on the other side of all this when I do it. Well, I've streamed for 2 hours. I have spent an hour just fucking around with this thing, and I have nothing to show for it at all. I'm pretty disappointed in myself, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not very happy right now. I feel like I should have been able to figure this out. But, you know, oh well. It's a hard game, you know? Feels bad, man. Yeah, it does, actually. It honestly does. And, you know, I appreciate that people are watching and, like, trying to, and, like, staying patient with me while I lose my mind on this thing. But, like, Good God, I feel actually pretty terrible right now. I mean, I just kind of feel like I wasted everyone's time tonight. That sucks. Sometimes a restart helps. I restarted this puzzle like 4 or 5 times already. It's not gonna really lead to anything different. The only thing they can do is just, try to find some other way of getting the key out of the rock nook, but I don't think that's gonna really lead to anything interesting happening if I do that. Have we tried moving the rock instead of the key? I mean, I've already wasted everyone's time, so I might as well just reset and then show off like what happens. So if you attempt to move the rock, if you say that rock is push, you could just go like, you know, basically it would be, you know, I'm not gonna move it correctly if I do it this way, but if there's enough room here, I could push rock as push on the other side here, and then let me just go ahead and actually screw it. I'm just gonna go ahead and show off like what that, or how that ends up playing out. So if I do rock as push, the issue becomes that the rock, I can now, you know, I could do something like this, get the key out over here, and then do that. But then if I push the rock onto the key, it's not gonna, they never actually occupy the same tile at the same time, so it doesn't really lead to anything. It doesn't change, they don't actually touch each other because of the swap mechanic that's at play. So at best, I could just make them dance around each other endlessly, and that doesn't seem to actually, I experimented with this a little bit, but it doesn't seem to actually lead to anything working, you know? So if I do that, like, it just doesn't really lead to anything. I could try to push the rock on top of the key while it's in a corner, but it doesn't, yeah. It does seem closer. No, I think this is a red herring. I don't think that this, will ever actually work, because I can't swap. Having a third thing in the way doesn't mess with the swap mechanic, like to swap onto the rock. I kind of get what you're saying, but no. So I don't think that there's a way to swap onto the rock by pushing like something else onto the key, if that's what you're getting at. I don't think that that will lead to anything happening per se. So like, if I backtrack a little ways and get the key back onto, say, the bat, so if I do this, I can't really get the rock actually. So one thing that's a little bit annoying about this is that I can't get the rock off of these cliffs, basically. I can't, like, get the key, I can't get the rock down to that area. You know, the other thing that I experimented with a little bit when I was starting out here was doing bat as push and using the bat to get the key out. That's the other kind of logical thing, right? So that would be, you know, this sort of play, and then the bat is stuck up there, but then the but then the key is out, and I still have access to the word bat. But the issue with this... I mean, the other thing I could think of is just pushing text through instead of the bat. But I don't think that this is gonna let me, you know... it does give me a couple extra things to work with if I do that, but I'm not sure if I'm really following, if this gives me anything new, per se, that the bat didn't already basically provide for me. If that makes sense. So I can come over here, and then I can get the Raka's push stuff down there. But then, yeah, there's no way that this text is going to behave any particularly differently than the bat was going to when I was working with the things being kind of on the roof of, or at the mouth of this cave, and then do Raka's push like this. This isn't going to make a difference. I mean, I can try, but I can't do like rock is bat or bat is rock, you know, because that's gonna... Yeah, because you can't change the form of the bat to anything else. If it could, then it would be a lot easier. But yeah, if I come over here and I now say that this is a configuration, if I come over here and I say that like the rock is here, and I have the bat word like over here or something. I'm now seeing what I should have been doing this whole time, I think. This is I think I just solved the puzzle. There it is. Alright, 2-hour stream, and that was the solution. Alright, cool. Well,
you did it though.
Yeah, thanks for bearing with me on that one. That took so long that I don't even have like a sense of gratification about it. It's more just like, yay, I can now move on with my life and my happiness. I am relieved, and there is like some sort of sense of like dopamine, but not a whole lot. Jesus. There's no gratification, only relief. Yeah, exactly. You understand. It's sort of like winning a boxing match. Like, yeah, you won, but also you kind of want to die. Because you just get like, you just got punched in the face over and over and over again. That's kind of how I feel after solving that puzzle. Oh, Nelly.